My fiancé's arrogant boss demanded a medical certificate after making her sick, so I gave him exactly what he deserved. If you've ever dealt with someone who uses their power to bully others, you're gonna love how this one ends. And hey, if you've ever felt that rush of sweet, poetic justice, hit that subscribe button right now. Because in today's story, karma isn't slow. It's punctual, professional, and beautifully ironic. It all started a few months ago. I run a physical therapy clinic, and my fiancée, let's call her Emily, is a lawyer at a mid-sized firm. We'd just gotten engaged, and at our engagement party, I mentioned to a few of her colleagues that I'd be happy to offer a discount if they ever needed physiotherapy. It was a simple, friendly gesture, one of those, let's support each other, moments. A few of them took me up on it, and soon, 4 of her co-workers became regular clients. Then one day, he showed up. Let's call him Richard because honestly, that fits him perfectly. Richard was one of Emily's senior partners, the kind of guy who enters a room like he owns oxygen. Even before he said a word, I could tell from Emily's strained smile that she didn't like him. Later, she admitted no one in her office did. He was arrogant, controlling, and obsessed with being seen as the smartest man in the room. But when he booked a session with me, I stayed professional. That's what I do. I smiled, asked about his pain points, and got to work. Except he made it difficult from the start. Every suggestion I made, he'd counter with some no. It all comment, as if he'd studied anatomy on Wikipedia last night. Still, I kept calm. After all, a client's a client. When it came time to pay, he smirked and said, "Oh, I get the employee discount, right?" I smiled right back and said, "Actually, that's for employees, not partners." His smile vanished. Small moment, but I'll admit, it was satisfying. He came back a few times after that, and every appointment confirmed what everyone already knew: the man was a walking ego with a pulse. One day, he asked how my day was going. I told him I was a bit swamped because one of my therapists called in sick. That must be annoying. He said, "Did they need a medical certificate?" I shook my head. "No, I'd rather they rest up and not infect the clinic." He frowned, as if I'd just broken some sacred corporate law. "I think I'm going to start enforcing medical certificates more strictly at my firm," he said proudly. "Prevents people from slacking off." I remember thinking how heartless that sounded. He talked about employees like they were replaceable cogs, not people. I didn't know it then, but those words would come back to haunt him beautifully. A week later, karma showed up, wrapped in tissues and cough drops. I caught a nasty cold from that same therapist, and guess who I gave it to next? Yep, Emily. Now, Emily's tough. She rarely complains, but this cold hit her hard. By Friday, she was coughing, dizzy, and barely able to stand. She worked from home that day, thinking she'd rest over the weekend and be fine by Monday. But the weekend came and went, and she only got worse. Monday morning, she called in sick. Her voice was hoarse, and I could tell she felt guilty for missing work. That's just how she is, responsible to a fault. But an hour later, she got an email from her boss. Take a wild guess who it was. It was Richard. And he wrote, in that formal, self-righteous tone of his, "Emily, as per company policy, please provide a medical certificate for your absence." The audacity. This man, who likely got her sick from me, who enforced a policy out of pure control, freak energy, was now demanding proof that she was ill. For the first time in years, I saw her actually angry at her job. Her hands trembled as she read it. "He's never asked anyone for a certificate before," she muttered. Now here's where the universe decided to play its favorite game, poetic timing. Because guess who had a 2 p.m. appointment with me that same day? Richard. The moment I saw his name on the booking schedule, something in me clicked. I didn't even need to plot revenge. It wrote itself. I turned to Emily, who was pale and dizzy with vertigo from the cold, and said, "You need to see your doctor today. I'll drive you." She agreed, so I called my receptionist and canceled Richard's appointment. When he asked why, I told him calmly, "Sorry, Richard, I have to drive my fiancée to her doctor's appointment. She's unwell." He replied, "Oh, is it serious?" I said, "She's got a nasty cold and vertigo. Doctor needs to check her out." Then, this is the best part, he said, "Can't she just send an email or something? The medical certificate isn't necessary." Oh, really? Now it's not necessary. I smiled as I typed my response. Sorry, she can't cancel her doctor's appointment. Clinic's late cancellation policy, you know how it is. Plus, she really shouldn't skip it. It's best she go. And that was it. I had just canceled his session, cost him his precious 2 p.m. slot, and used his own rulebook to justify it. He'd created the very system that came back to bite him. The cherry on top. My clinic was fully booked for the next 3 weeks. I told him I'd reach out if a spot opens, but of course, nothing ever did. Emily got her medical certificate, signed and sealed. She sent it in with a polite note saying, "Per your request, here's my medical certificate. I'll return once cleared by my doctor." Richard didn't reply, not even a thanks. But the next time Emily went into work, she said he avoided her like she was radioactive. He never asked for another certificate again. Not from her, not from anyone. Apparently, the other partners had heard about his little stunt and how it backfired. One even joked, "Guess the certificate policy wasn't such a great idea after all. Huh, Richard." That day, when Emily told me, I felt that deep, wordless satisfaction. Not the kind that comes from shouting or revenge plotting, but the kind where justice simply aligns itself. The arrogant man got trapped in the web he spun, and the best part, we didn't have to lift a finger beyond what was right. It's funny how people like Richard think control equals respect. They push rules on others, thinking it makes them powerful. But when life flips the script and those same rules box them in, you can almost hear the universe whisper, "Fair's fair." For me, it was never about vengeance. It was about principle. When you treat people like humans, not underlings, life rewards you with loyalty, respect, and peace. But when you lead with arrogance and control, eventually you lose control completely. So yeah, Richard didn't just lose his appointment. He lost his little illusion of authority. And every time I glance at my fully booked schedule, I smile knowing that somewhere in his overpriced office, he's probably trying to massage his own neck pain, and failing miserably. Karma's not always loud. Sometimes it just whispers, "You asked for this." If you've ever dealt with someone who thought they were untouchable, only to watch karma set things straight, drop a "justice served" in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real life stories where arrogance meets reality. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just letting life run its course. And that, my friends, is how one arrogant boss learned the hard way that karma keeps receipts.